As the second wave of Birai's resistance emerged with hundreds of newly trained soldiers, the battlefield bore witness to the clash between the anti-disintegration group and Birai's advancing forces. Both sides engaged in a relentless exchange of gunfire, the staccato rhythm of bullets punctuating the air while heavy artillery pounded the opposition. The human toll reached staggering numbers, reflecting the brutality of the conflict and the unwavering determination of both sides to emerge victorious. Birai's, undeterred by the heavy casualties, pressed forward with its third and final wave, the main force comprising professional soldiers armed with advanced weaponry. In response, President Ruda executed the final phase of his meticulously planned three-counter strategy, the deployment of the anti-attack group. This united force, consisting of the combined strength of all three counter units, fought fiercely to repel Birai's assault. Guerrillist soldiers, hardened by months of warfare and driven by a fierce sense of loyalty to their cause, displayed unwavering determination as they clashed with Birai's elite troops. Despite the effectiveness of the guerrillist countermeasures, President Ruda could not ignore the grim reality that the battle for Kazan had reached a stalemate. While the guerrillist army had succeeded in penetrating deep into Birai's and had inflicted heavy losses upon its forces, the capital city remained firmly in Birai's grip. The fortified defenses and the fierce resistance of the Birai's forces had thwarted every attempt by the guerrillist army to breach the city's defenses. At the current rate of progress, President Ruda realized that it would take at least 2 more years to subdue Birai's and capture Kazan, a prospect that was unacceptable given the toll it would exact on both sides. The extensive loss of life weighed heavily on President Ruda's conscience, forcing him to confront the harsh truth that Birai's strategy of attrition was succeeding in wearing down the guerrillist army's morale and depleting its resources. Frustrated and entangled in the complexities of urban warfare, President Ruda found himself devoid of a clear solution to expedite the conquest of Birai's. Every avenue of attack seemed met with insurmountable resistance, and the prospect of a prolonged siege loomed ominously on the horizon. On the flip side of the conflict, Birai's was also grappling with severe challenges of its own. After over 4 months of relentless warfare, the nation's resources were depleted, and its army faced dire circumstances. The guerrillist alliance's three-pronged attacks had inflicted heavy damage on Birai's infrastructure, disrupting food production facilities and crippling the nation's ability to sustain itself. More than half of Birai's army had perished in the fighting, and the remaining soldiers were exhausted and demoralized. Despite the people's valiant attempts to supply food and resources to the front lines, Birai's found itself ensnared in a tightening grip, with no escape and dwindling resources. As the stalemate in Kazan persisted, the desperation on both sides of the conflict reached unprecedented levels. President Ruda and General Blura found themselves locked in a deadly game of cat and mouse, each striving to outmaneuver the other and gain the upper hand. The fate of Birai's hung in the balance, and the outcome of the battle for Kazan would shape the course of history for generations to come.